Hello. I don't know who this is going to reach, but if you clicked on this, there's a chance you don't really know who you are when you're not performing. If you only feel steady when you're achieving something, if calm makes you restless, if you feel like you disappear when there's no intensity, this might be for you. And if it is, I understand it because I lived it. For most of my life, I thought I had a substance problem, but what I had was an addiction to intensity. Now, I wrote this down because when I talk about this part of my life, it branches into 10 different stories. And I didn't want to perform it. I wanted to say it clearly with clarity. And so I wrote it down. And now, for a long time, I didn't realize that needing to win all the time was slowly draining me. It looked like strength and it felt like strength, but it was exhausting. And I grew up in an environment where losing meant something deeper. It wasn't just a bad day, it became identity. If I lost, I was a loser. If I won, I felt invincible. When your worth is tied to performance, rest feels dangerous. And that's not freedom. Later in my life, I used a lot of substances, but I didn't use them to escape. I used them to amplify. They made me feel sharper, less self-conscious, more confident, more charismatic. It felt like the real version of me finally showed up. I used to feel like I could walk into any room and make anything happen. And sometimes it even looked like that from the outside. But I wasn't building confidence. I was just borrowing it. And if you're borrowing confidence, there's always a cost. Now, when I wasn't using anything, I felt quieter, more self-conscious. On the surface, I looked confident. But internally, there was this constant noise. Overthinking, analyzing, second-guessing everything. I would read tones, pauses, expressions. There was always something running in the background of my mind. And intensity, it quieted that noise for me. And that's what made it so seductive. It wasn't just about feeling high. It was about feeling clear. And when I wasn't using substances, I was using winning. Top sales, the recognition, being the best in the room. It was the same high, just socially acceptable. Addiction doesn't always look destructive. Sometimes it looks impressive. And sometimes people applaud it. But underneath, it's still dependency. If you only feel solid when you're ahead, you're not stable. You're oscillating. If you win, you feel invincible. If you lose, you feel worthless. There's no baseline identity in the middle. What I eventually realized is this. I wasn't addicted to substances. I wasn't even addicted to success. I was addicted to intensity. Without intensity, I didn't feel like myself. Calm felt like laziness. Silence felt like something was wrong. And maybe that sounds familiar. Every extreme high is matched with an extreme low. That rhythm feels powerful until it starts controlling you. I got tired of living at the edges. Now, I'm learning how to build a life that doesn't require altered states, chemical or emotional, to feel real, present. I'm also learning how not to let other people, their reactions, environments, or outcomes define who I am internally. For most of my life, something outside of me decided how I felt about myself. I'm trying to change that. I'm learning that calm isn't weakness, it's stability. I don't have to win to exist. I don't have to amplify myself to feel alive. If you've been living on intensity, you don't have to stay there. Neither do I.